Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top real estate broker Nick Libert of Exit Strategy Realty based out of Chicago, Illinois. Nick lives daily through his mantra, empowering life through real estate. Since 1998, he has been helping people buy, sell, and invest in property across the Midwest, and since 2001, been involved in the brokerage, management, and ownership. With a passion for training and coaching, Nick started Exit Strategy Realty in 2009 with 8 agents, and since then his operation to a regional powerhouse boasting over 160 sales and leasing agents selling residential, commercial, and investment property across northern Illinois. Earlier this year, Nick launched his second company, Nick Libert Development, focused on the purchase, renovation, improvement, and resale of properties in Chicago neighborhoods looking for beautification. So with all that said, Nick, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. So hopefully we'll have a good time.
Absolutely. And I guess, Nick, if we could get started for our listeners, maybe you could kind of tell us what led you into real estate. Was it something that you always knew you wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into it?
You know, my mom and my grandfather were both, they were both involved in real estate, kind of on the side. I wouldn't say it was their main business, either one of them, but I got to know it. They always talked about the value of real estate. And when I was in high school, I started noticing, real estate signs around the neighborhood and activity, and it seemed like it was an interesting thing. Our family sold an investment property, and I went to the closing with my mom, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. This sounds like something where you get to go out and make some money, hopefully, but also, help improve a neighborhood. And it just seemed like there was a lot of activity going on that for somebody of an entrepreneurial mindset. I always enjoyed sales, even in before I was legally allowed to work, I was already trying to sell things on the corner at a lemonade stand and things like that. So it seemed like the only thing that I knew that was, of the sales nature, but also seemed to be improving people's lives and was a true investment piece. So that's what got me into it originally.
Excellent. So it sounds like you were kind of, accidentally raised up into it, not like on purpose, like they're like, we're going to raise Nick and he's going to be in real estate, but it was just all around you. So it just seemed like the natural path. Exactly.
I don't exactly think that my mom is delighted to hear that after all these years, I'm still not using my college degree or my law degree, but I fell in love with it. The first summer I was in it in college and put myself through law school doing it and, kind of just never looked back. It really kind of took over my life. And, here we are 17, almost 18 years later.
Great. And Nick, I guess if you could maybe kind of tell our listeners, what personal attributes or traits or qualities do you think have most contributed to the success that you've had? And how do you think you developed these?
I think in business, you've got to have a people personality. You've got to come from not only a people personality lifestyle, but also a servant leadership lifestyle. Is that you've really got to find out what makes people tick, what people need, ask what people need, and respond to that need. I think a lot of people come into business with the idea they're going to sell you on something when it's not something that people actually really want or need in their lives. And that's where I've always kind of come from is I'm a natural people person. I absolutely love getting out there and meeting new people and interacting and being social. But at the same time, I'm also listening to what people need and what they're looking for and what their goals and their dreams are. And that's why I think that my company has resonated better than I think that it originally should have had a shot at when we started it.
Yeah, I think it's key to point out something you said there is that obviously real estate, tends to be looked at as a sales profession that people have to sell. But kind of what you said, I think, is important, and other guests we've had, and kind of the same track is that you find the need, right? Find the desire, find the want, listening to the person, and then kind of fill that need or fill that want. So it's really not selling. It's like, oh, this is what you want. Well, I can get you that right here. You match them up. It's not really selling. It's kind of solving the need or the want, the problem.
Exactly, and it's creating a value proposition too. Again, I think that we have so many messages now these days out there in the real world that everybody wants a piece of your time, and it's really those of us that are trying to provide something of value that you actually want or need that are getting traction.
Excellent. And Nick, do you think you can maybe give us a specific example of when you've used your traits and how they played a role in your path towards success?
Sure. I think one thing that when I look at it in my kind of career trajectory is that I think that a lot of people need to understand, what is the difference between buying versus renting? What will that do for you? Not just the dream of home ownership. Well, what is the dream of home ownership really, especially after the market crash of 2007, 8, 9? And it's again, going back to that idea of a value proposition is what are you looking to do? And a lot of people are like, well, I want to save up money, but I don't always make enough money to save money. And is there a passive way to do that? And how do I save for retirement? And what's an investment piece that I can control? And really kind of for me, I've crafted my message in real estate around that is that it's not just about, finding a nice place to live, but it's also finding something that will appreciate as an asset and create a retirement piece beyond the traditional IRA or the pension that is in some cases no longer reliable.
Excellent. And I kind of the next area here is we know that, all success is always not smooth sailing. There's never been a perfect road to anybody's path to success. So maybe could you talk about some of the major adversities and trials that you had to overcome to achieve your goals? Now, obviously, one that kind of glares right at me is you decided to start your own brokerage in 2009, which was obviously a down market. So that right there seems like it was already an uphill battle for you.
I definitely in real estate have some, I'd say, I call them false starts. Putting all your eggs in one basket in terms of your sales is one thing. Is, really figuring, okay, well, I've got it made now because I have X, Y, Z number of clients. You've always got to be out meeting new people, building your brand. It never stops. And, you've always got to continue to innovate because in real estate or probably any other industry for your listeners out there, there's always change. There's always innovation. There's always growth. And there's some parts of the market that are going to fade over time. When I first got into Chicago real estate, I was doing luxury condos, new construction, really fun things at a very high price point. And when the market crashed, I kind of crashed right along with it. I was overly leveraged. I was in a lot of debt. And I really had to kind of build back up from the bottom. And I ended up selling $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 foreclosures and kicking, vagrants and out of abandoned houses. And it was really just not a cute time in real estate. But at the same time, that's how I survived and paid my bills. And then I got into short sales and moved on. So, I think really for me, I've kind of seen the best and the worst. And at this point, I'm just always kind of looking around the corner going, well, what's next in our market? Is it going to be, are we going to, have a dip in the market and we're going to have some more short sales? Are we going to have a luxury market boom and then an overbuilding? It's like any other industry or even the stock market. There's always going to be your ups and downs, and you've always got to stay diversified. You can never be in one place and feel comfortable. And I learned that the hard way.
Excellent. And I guess, Nick, if you could talk a little about, what kept you going despite these obstacles? Why didn't you give up? I mean, obviously, like you said, you had an education, you went to law school, and obviously that's something you could have fell back on. What kept you going and driving forward when it came to real estate?
I did have some success, and that was, I think if I had never had success in the past in it and had never really, created a good living for a time in it, I would have probably been out of the marketplace. But I affiliated with a brand name that that was very supportive and I think was aware of what was going on in the market. I had some loyal clients, which, kind of was important to moving forward. But, also who I was kind of in my direct circle associating with. I really had to kind of shift that up when the market crashes. I needed to be around people that were also hustling and moving and shaking and were getting up early as they could in the morning at 5 and 6 and maybe getting their workout in, but really getting into the office early and moving, whether that was in real estate or other industries, because we were all at that point, not doing well, real estate in particular, but you really need to be kind of that law of attraction or associating and surrounding yourself with people that are operating at a level as high as you or higher than you and not allowing negativity to get into your world.
Excellent. And I guess kind of maybe looking forward a little bit, where do you see things going, say, for the business over the next 5 years or so?
Well, in my personal business, we've been lucky enough the last couple of years growing from 9 agents when we started to, over 160 now. we're looking in the markets around us, the peripheral markets, so Northwest Indiana, Southeast Wisconsin. So we're looking to expand our brand. We're excited about our brand. We provide a ton of training for our agents, a lot of really nice technology and marketing for our clients. So we're looking to expand. Personally, I'm also, started my investment company last year, my development company, I should really say, and that's expanding as well. So as far as the market goes, though, we want to do everything cautiously. As we've opened our second office, it's a very nice but small office with some shared services, I think, which is the smartest way to go. We're trying to keep overhead down. We're not over-expanding. We're not going to that 2005 and 6 mindset of this is great and it'll never stop and it'll never end and money flows freely from the sky. It doesn't. We know that, and we should have known that then. So that's how we're moving forward. And we know that there'll be dips in the market, hopefully never something like that again. But I think everybody in all major industries and entrepreneurs in every sphere, that were operating in business in that time have hopefully learned for the long haul to expand, but slowly and smartly.
Excellent. And kind of, on top of that, what do you feel the best way that you market yourself as a real estate professional so you can have continual growth?
I think that it's two types of networking. We have the traditional networking that's never going to go away. I think a lot of people have become internet only, where you don't see them out in the public, you don't see them walking their neighborhood, getting to know their neighborhood businesses and the community organizations, and I think that's a shame, and that's why in some respects I think my business has continued to outpace some of my competitors. Is I'm still out there doing those traditional, meeting new people, wearing my name badge, handing out some pamphlets and really getting that face time, that hand-to-hand, boots-on-the-ground type networking. And then obviously, though, social media is a huge, huge part of our environment. I mean, hopefully, some of your listeners will add me on social media at Nick Libert and, connect with me on there. And that's a great way to meet people that you don't necessarily run into walking down the street. And I've had some wonderful international buyers, sellers, and investors that I've met online over the last several years. And so it's really a combination of both. You can never stop promoting your business. You can never looking for new things that are going to help your clients and your employees and your people. So it's always an active game. There's never really too much rest.
Excellent. And I think that sometimes when you look at, real estate and agents a lot, there's a lot of times there's misconceptions and myths that people have. I mean, the barrier to entry seems pretty easy. You take a little bit of, education, you pass the state test. And also I think on the flip side from a seller standpoint, some sellers probably think that, I could just, I can put a sign up in my house and sell my house. They don't realize all that goes into all the behind the scenes and what an agent really brings to the table. So maybe can you talk a little bit about what you think the biggest misconception or myth that people have about working with a real estate agent?
Well, I think that, first of all, from the consumer standpoint and also the real estate agent standpoint, is that there's the perception as you go and you do, like you said, take that state exam and you walk out of there and piles of money fall down from the sky. That just doesn't happen. And so what really the consumer needs to know is that not all agents are created equal. Look for an agent that has, existing inventory, that has is learning based and is going to classes and has a large network of people that's at a company that maybe it's not the biggest company in the world, but that the agent can articulate to you what the training program is, why they're there, what the benefits are. Really focus on the marketing if you're looking as a seller, and as a buyer, look for education. You're a buyer. It may not be your first time buying a home, but the market is constantly changing. What can an agent do for you to show you the community, the financial options for you as far as mortgage, and so on? So it's really kind of interviewing an agent. That doesn't necessarily happen online. It happens maybe in person, but interviewing an agent and getting as much information as you can, looking at their reviews on Zillow, just doing some investigation, and finding out, okay, is this somebody that knows what they're doing and maybe hasn't been in the business for 20 or 30 years, of course, but some of the best agents are in the business 5 years, but they've had a good background and a good education within the real estate community, some great mentors, and that really makes a well-rounded agent, no matter what age or experience level they are.
Excellent. And you kind of touched on this, but I guess if we could kind of wrap it all into one, and it's kind of a hypothetical question we like to ask is, let's say you get a call from a family member in another state, and they want to sell their home. What advice would you give them? How would you direct them so they could select an agent that could best serve their needs? Kind of how you, take care of your own clients. What would you how would you advise them to select an agent?
I run into this all the time because even though I'm based in Chicago, I have a network throughout the country and even internationally. And so they ask me, hey, do you know a good agent in Los Angeles or New York or Seattle or Miami or wherever? And if I don't have an agent already in that area, what I personally do is I go online, I do a search for that area. Maybe I look at a couple different companies' websites or a couple individual websites. I search on the major search engines for real estate like Trulia and Zillow. I know not all agents love those websites, but they're out there. And as well as maybe even Redfin. And I look and I go, okay, well, here's an agent that has a lot of reviews, that has some listings in the area that I'm interested in. The reviews are positive. The agent's got a good profile. It's very well-rounded, and they've answered a lot of questions about their background and what their passion is. And that's what you really need to look for. I'm very skeptical of any agent that doesn't have a lot of reviews online, that doesn't have an online presence. It doesn't matter whether they're tech-savvy or not. The consumer should be reviewing them if they've got transactions under their belt. And that's really what you want, is somebody that's had a good track record, a happy list of clients, and someone that you can do enough online research to feel comfortable putting this, one of the largest investments you'll ever make, in their hands.
Excellent. And Nick, I guess if you could, if someone needs a real estate agent or a brokerage in the areas that you serve, what's the best way they can find out more information about you and how you can help them?
In terms of, for us, go to my website, nicklibert.com. Go on social media. All my profiles on there, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm kind of all over on all of those. And same way with my company. Go to exitsellchicago.com. And we've also got a Facebook fan page. And we're very active online. We really like to show people what we've got going on. We're excited about our growth, and we're excited about the listings we've got, and it's a fun time to be in the market.
Excellent. Well, Nick, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come here today and obviously share your business experience with our listeners. And if anybody's listening and you want to learn more about Nick and what they can do for you, like you said, you can go to nicklibert.com. And what we'll also do for the listeners is below this interview, we'll have a link to his site, any other contact information that he has, a phone number, so that you can, if you want to get in touch with Nick, we'll make it easier for you guys to do that. So until our next show, everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.